Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. You are listening to the Eazy-Austin show. This is your host, Eazy-Austin here. I was going to talk about technology, but as I was thinking about it, I'm like, maybe I should do Apple products because I'm an Apple person, right? I know it's an expensive brand, but there's no denying the ease of use of these things, at least in my opinion. There's some people that don't like Apple because, they're watching us, they're spying on us or whatever. I have yet to run into any problems with any of my products yet that I can remember. I'm currently looking at the Apple website right now, and I can see the new products that they have. Obviously, the iPhone 15. A lot of people have it right now. I should probably explain the Apple products that I have. So, I have an iPhone 14 Pro Max. I have a iPad 9th generation. It's not the new one. It's not a new iPad. Oh yeah, 9th gen. Yep, it's definitely 9th gen. I have iPad 9th generation. I have an iMac from 2021. I have which I'm using right now actually to record this podcast on. I had a MacBook, but then I gave it to my mom so that way she can do some stuff on there whenever she wants. I have an Apple Watch Series 7. That's what I have. I love Apple. I would be an Apple advocate because I like watching the keynotes. Like the way they explain stuff is like it makes you really want to get it in your hands, but then when you use it, you don't even think about it. All people use is like TikTok nowadays, Instagram, Twitter, any kind of social media. But there's some people that are very artistic. Some people like use the camera to like film some stuff. What else? Some people do it for music. Some people do it for making videos like I do. I mostly use it for personal use. Like right now I'm using it for a podcast, which I'm talking to you right now. I also like making videos. That's been one of my main passions. I have my camera right here with me. I've been loving it ever since. Like, these Apple products have been treating me well, at least, because they have been a good part of my life since childhood, really. When I was in elementary school, I remember my class, when we went to the computer lab, when I was in elementary school, like around maybe 1st grade, 2nd grade, 3rd grade, somewhere around there, they had the original iMacs, the colored ones, those big fat ones. Let me see if I can pull it up. Is there an iMac 2003? Oh, yes, it was those. Those iMacs from 2003. Was it those? Because I remember it was the G3 from 2001 to 2003, those original iMacs with the color ones. There was a blue one. There was a red one, a orange one, purple one, and I think a green one. I don't think the green one existed, to be honest with you. But I like that they went back to the colorful ways of the iMac right now, because they have the iMacs in all different colors. They have the original silver. I have the green one. I have a green iMac. But then there's blue, then there's red, then, yellow, like primary and secondary colors. Those are the main 6 colors that you really need, because then other colors blend in. And the reason why I chose green is because it complements my room. When you look at complementary colors, you look at what makes the other stand out. So I have one side of my room that is colored red, and then the other side of my room I have my green iMac. They complement each other. So that was my thought process of getting green. The red complements my green and the green complements my red. So they make each other stand out. That's what complementary colors are. But anyways, enough about that. So I'm looking at the iMac of 2003, and I see Steve Jobs there. Steve Jobs. Okay, there was a green one. Okay. That's strange. There's only 5 colors here, except there's no yellow one. All 3 secondary colors, but then only 2 primary colors. I don't even think that's really red. That's like a pinkish color, like a light, a light pinkish color or a dark pinkish color. Oh yeah, that's definitely pink. Never mind, it's definitely pink. That is definitely a pink color. But then again, I would consider it red because Why would you have pink instead of red? I see red over here, unless that's just the way there's contrast on my screen. Retina display really changed the game right now. I'm looking at like Retina display right now. It's honestly too clear. Like I kind of wish there were some pixels, but then again, I'm kind of used to it. What am I used to? I don't even know. I'm used to, oh, look at these ports. There's a Kensington security slot. Kensington? There's a video out. Let me look at these. Not secure. applemuseum.dk. There's 2 FireWire ports. There's 3 USB 2.0 ports. There's one for the modem, one for Ethernet. Wait a minute. There's both a modem and Ethernet port for that? Oh, this is for that other iMac. So it was just a screen on the top, and then afterwards you just have the main computer on the bottom. That's interesting. It did look kind of weird. Let me look at the iMac today. Yep, that's the one I have, except it's in a different color. It's really flat, like it's only 10 pounds. Imagine that. This computer is so freaking flat and thin. It's about the same width as my iPhone. The same thickness as my iPhone. Imagine that. We've come so far from having a lot of different components to just having it be flat with the screen, and I can barely hear the fan. I remember watching a video one time of Steve Jobs, or was it a movie? It was a movie where he's like, I want there to be a quiet fan. I want the fan to be quiet. This thing cannot have a loud fan. And they designed that fan in a way where it can be super quiet while also like cooling it down. You know, now that I look at this, I'm looking at my iMac computer right now, and I'm all of a sudden realizing that every bit of the brains of the computer, like the CPU and the one silicon chip that they have, that's all on the chin. Every single part of the computer is in the chin. That chin is like since my iMac is green, it has like a green chin. That's all there. And then the rest is just screen. The rest is like speakers and fan cooling. And I barely hear it. The MacBook that I have, the thin one, the newest MacBook that I have, that doesn't even have a fan. It's a MacBook Air. That doesn't even have a fan. It has like a thermal heat spreader that takes heat from that processor, and it dissipates throughout the entire layer of the heat spreader. So the heat is like spread out through across that sheet. I have absolutely no idea how that works, how it pulls down heat from, because wouldn't heat, or maybe it's on the top. Maybe that's what it is. It's the heat spreader's on the top. But then again, it does also help to have colder rooms. Every single, computer lab that you have been in, it has to be cold. It has to be like frigid cold, because you don't want those computers to overheat. I always used to think like, why is the computer room so cold? That's why. You don't want them things to overheat. Okay, so let me actually go back to the Apple website. I've geeked out enough. Let me go to Mac. Packed with more juice. The world's best all-in-one computer, now supercharged by the M3 chip. With a stunning 24-inch display that gives you all space you need, an iconic design that livens up any space, iMac is perfect for work and play. This looks exactly like the iMac that I have. You can't even tell the difference. Maybe there's some slight subtle differences. From what I see, it looks like the exact same. It just has different, better components inside. 7 vibrant colors. I have the green one. I have the M1 chip. Let me go to my About settings. Apple M1. I have 8 gigabytes of flash memory, a Macintosh startup disk, and that's it. I have Sonoma, Mac OS Sonoma. Maybe, well, February is already here, so Sonoma already came out back in like September or October, somewhere around there. or maybe even November. I have no clue anymore. So I'm looking at this. There are more apps for iMac than ever before. Why is MLB on there? I see Photoshop, I see Slack, Zoom, Microsoft Excel, Photoshop, Prime, Microsoft Word. I have Discord on here. I have new Teams on there, which I should probably take out because it's not really working with my stuff. Because right now that only serves like, what? That only serves for work and school. And I graduated already. I graduated from high school. I graduated from college, which still I am very shocked that I can say that I graduated college. And I have my associate's degree in business administration, which I'm actually proud that I can say. Let me go to storage. I think we should learn a little bit about computers right now. I could probably teach you guys a thing or two. But then again, it's like, what can you really know when I'm only explaining to you through a dang podcast? All right, I fixed it. I fixed everything. I don't need to do anything. A lot of my storage really consists of stuff in iMovie that I haven't edited yet. And I really need to get to that, but I'm recording this podcast right now that needs to be taken care of. But we can do it whenever we want. Let me keep looking at the iMac, because honestly, I'm really good on space right now. But then again, it's like eventually I will run out. So I need to get to editing. Once I have everything uploaded, then I can delete all that stuff off of my thing. And that's going to be the end of it. Designed with Earth in mind. That's the thing. I keep hearing Apple talk about like how they're like making greener products, as in like they're going to use like old recycled Apple products to make new Apple products. iMac was designed to minimize its impact on the environment. All of the virgin wood fiber in its packaging comes from exclusively from responsibly managed forests. Its stand is made from 100% recycled aluminum. The rare earth elements in speakers, fan motor, and power connector magnets are completely recycled. We're committed to transitioning our entire manufacturing supply chain to 100% renewable electricity by 2030. It's 2024 right now, so they got about 6 more years. All right, well, Apple in education, Apple at work. Get credit towards a new Mac. I don't need a new Mac, okay? I'm happy with. Come for the power, stay for the fun. Now, I like software. If you can give me new software, you can give me some new interfaces and stuff, new stuff to play with, I'm all for it. Because I really like underestimate the thinking that goes into touchscreens, that goes into like bitmap screens and user interfaces. I really underestimate that kind of stuff, because the way Steve Jobs explained it was really interesting. When you get a new product, like let's say you got a new Nokia phone from like 2001, and all it has are these plastic buttons that you use to text with, and you can't really change anything about it. There's not much room for much else. It's been like that for a couple of years until Steve came out with the iPhone back in 2007. I was only 10 years old when the first iPhone came out. I was 10 years old. I was in 4th grade. Maybe I had finished 4th grade going into 5th grade when the first iPhone came out. It's really honestly amazing how time flies by. We'll be able to go forward from there. Now, what I was going to say was I was looking at my phone and I realized like how advanced this is. It's just one giant screen at the end of the day. And then when you use it, there's multiple icons that pop up. You can swipe left, swipe right. When you want to talk to somebody, you can talk to your mom. iMessage, the keyboard pops up and you can type. When you want to swipe down, keyboard goes away. We rarely think about any of these things anymore. It's so Like, think about how mind-blowing that was back in the day. Like, you don't need like a stylus. It's not like a plastic. It's not like plastic. It's like complete glass, and it's like sensitive, more sensitive touch where you use your. And you know how your parents used to tell you to stop touching screens with your hands, like with your fingers and stuff? Steve changed all that. Like, oh yeah, you can touch this with your fingers. You can touch this whole screen. That's you're gonna have to navigate this whole thing. Touching screens all the time. And we barely even think about it. All we just think of, okay, let me text my mom. Okay, let me call my mom. Let me see what my friends are doing on Facebook or TikTok or Instagram or Snapchat. I'm going to go snap my friends. I'm going to take a picture. All right, I'm going to go listen to music on Spotify. Oh yeah, I forgot to level up my Pokemon in Pokemon Go. Or, oh, maybe I should like hang out in Discord for a while. We rarely think about how much it's changed. We turn off the screen, like we could even watch a whole video, a whole movie on our tiny screens, like a whole movie. It's honestly insane. So much thought went into it, and it's stuff that we barely even think about now. I should get off this topic. Even so, like it went as far as like changing up the mouse. If you look at the Apple quote-unquote magic mouse, there's no scroll wheel or nothing. You just click left, click right. You pretend to scroll. Like it's all touch. It's all touch. And I can't even begin to describe how crazy that is. When I'm playing games on like, I can actually play games on my Mac. And I'm talking about like GameCube games. You know how nostalgic I am for GameCube games? I'm nostalgic for Mario Kart Double Dash. I'm nostalgic for Mario Power Tennis, Super Smash Bros. Melee. I think Double Dash is actually the main game that I've been into for the GameCube. I know there's been many other like games like Mario Parties 4 through 7. I need to get back into making gaming content on my other channel because it's like dead right now. I think I'm gonna have to start getting back into that because that's what I want to do. But then again, I want to use my camera for that stuff. You know, I want to use my camera for that stuff. I want to be able to record stuff from that. And my dad gave me like his older speakers that he hasn't been using, so they still sound pretty good. And these are like from when I was a child. I was like maybe 8 years old when he got this. Time has passed. They're nearly 19 years old. They're almost 20 years old. 19, 20-year-old speakers. Like, and I tested to see if we could make a sound that kind of sound where you get a phone call. Like an incoming phone call, it like disrupts the speakers. It goes, and I have not heard that sound come out of these speakers in like years. Let me honestly see if I can pull it up. Speaker internal ringing. Oh, this one. I have not heard that sound in so long. I don't know if you guys heard it. Let me check back. I was able to hear it. And it sounded so quiet though, even though it was loud on my end. This microphone that I'm using is so fine-tuned. It only picks up close range and not far range. Because there's other microphones that are like quote-unquote better. But like if you're doing a podcast, you don't want like outside noises coming in. Give me a second to drink some Prime, some lemon lime Prime. That actually rhymes. Yes, I drink Prime. It's Logan Paul's company. It's KSI's company. I know, I get it. It's not the best drink in the world, but I like it. It's pretty good. Even though my favorite flavor is, I think it's blue raspberry, but I have lemon lime. Their new flavor, I think it's cherry limeade. I need to taste that one in order to really gauge, you know, how good it is. I have a question. You guys, this if you really want this to be like an interpersonal relationship podcast, like I will make it about that. Cause I've you ever like see something that is so contradictory to what other people are telling you? And what I mean by that is like you have somebody that talks to you and they say, I have a question. Like I'm trying to like meet somebody like the love of my life, and I'm trying to like I'm just not understanding why people don't like me, why people like they don't really love me. But then I'm talking to them and then like somewhere down the line they're like, "Oh, I kind of want to like throw some hot sauce in my friend's drink, or I want to poison this person, or I want to do this, I want to do that." Like, and then like some people like they say like, "Oh, would you still love me if I beat somebody up?" In my head, and I'm just like, "You know what? I'm kind of starting to see why." And then they say like the meanest stuff in the world. It's like nobody wants to be with somebody like that. Like for real. Nobody wants to be with somebody like that. I don't know. Some people are just confusing like that. They expect one thing and then another thing. Why is LimeWire here? LimeWire is back? Okay, we're gonna hold off on everything for a second. Why is LimeWire back? Have I been like asleep for like the past few weeks? What happened with LimeWire? Hold on. Was a free peer-to-peer file sharing client available in 32 languages. It was a free peer-to-peer file sharing thing. LimeWire LLC. No, because I'm looking. I'm like, how is LimeWire back already? LimeWire's name was revived in 2022 for an unrelated music-based NFT platform. An action with which Gorton... Who's Gorton? Maybe he's like the creator, right? Which Gorton expressed displeasure. The NFT market was launched in July 2022 with the first NFT collection from American record producer Seven Aurelius. In September 2023, LimeWire bought Blue Willow, a generative AI tool, and became a place to share images and videos created with it. So on Twitter, I saw like, I know it's called X now, but it still says twitter.com on here. But why am I seeing that? That's all I see. And now that's the future of, oh, it all makes sense now. LimeWire, the future of AI content creation. Oh my God. You know how far we have come from, listening to music and sharing music like from computer to computer? And now there's AI generated stuff. It's not perfect, but it's pretty close. It's becoming pretty close to, there's affiliates, replies, highlight. I don't even know if I want to follow LimeWire anymore. I really don't even know if I want to do that. Happy Valentine's Day. I know, but we're past that already. I know February is like the month of love or whatever, but we have January for New Year's, then we have February for Valentine's Day. March has St. Patrick's Day. April has Easter. May doesn't really have anything. No, May has Mother's Day. My bad. May has Mother's Day. June has Father's Day. July has Independence Day for Americans. August, I don't know if August has any holidays. September has Labor Day. October has Halloween. Maybe August is the only month without a real holiday. Happiness Month. National Back to School Month. Middle Child Day. Book Lovers Day. National Rum Day. No. August doesn't have any real holiday. National Watermelon Day. Who is celebrating watermelons? The only thing I can really see is like Middle Child Day. I don't know what that has to. It's okay. August doesn't really need anything. I don't really. This is crazy. I'm losing my train of thought here because I'm trying to gauge on what to talk about, because all I'm thinking right now, I'm gonna tell you guys my thought process. I'm starting to think about why people don't why I have this train of thought only, where I'm thinking about there's 4 seasons and there's 12 months. We can separate the 4 seasons evenly throughout the 3 months, because we have March, April, May. That's spring, right? It's getting warmer, but it's not too hot. But then you have summer for June, July, August, right? Those are your summer months. Then you have fall, September, October, November. Those are your fall months. Then you got December, January, February. That's winter. That's what we're in right now. It's winter. Like, as soon as a new month starts, like, let's say we're like February, right? Next month is going to be March. As soon as March 1st hits, it should be spring. I'm sorry, I don't like Groundhog Day. I'm sorry to Puxatawny Phil, or whatever his name is. I'm sorry to him. Phil just probably doesn't even want it. He just wants to be a groundhog. He just wants to be on the ground, just eating whatever food he likes to eat, and just leave him alone. Just let him be a groundhog. Let him be a beaver. Let him be a regular rodent on the floor, you know? And why don't we just start with March at spring? And then the last day of spring is going to be May 31st, right? March, April, May. Those are our spring months. Then as soon as June 1st hits, summertime, baby. I remember I used to be so happy about summer vacation when I used to be in like middle school and high school, when summer vacation would come around, and like it was like the last day of school, and like all you had to do was like maybe watch some of your favorite movies, talk to your friends, like, oh, what are you gonna do this summer? Oh, I'm probably gonna go to Disney World in Florida, or I'm probably just gonna hang out with some friends, or just chill and just finish some of my video games and just chill and do whatever I want. I'm so far removed from that now because I'm an adult. Imagine like new games coming out in like the summer, right? Or if you had a game that you hadn't completed, like you could put more time into it to try to really beat it during the summer. How many you have, like early June? When I used to live in New York, it used to be like late June. Late June, you would have your summer vacation like around June 25th or 6th or 7th or 8th. And then around the first week of September was when, you would go back to school. And I always used to like not be the biggest fan of September, but then again, I would be like, okay, I'm going back to school. Like, I'm going to see new people. Maybe I might see some old friends and catch up with them of what we did over the summer. I don't know. It was kind of neat. Like, new year, new people and stuff like that. I'm so far removed from that now, because 2015 was when I graduated from high school. Looking for work ever since, and now I have a job at Disney, and it's honestly crazy how different life is now. But you used to get so excited for summer vacation when like new games would come out, or a new toy, or you had like some sort of, you heard your parents talking about some sort of vacation that you guys are planning. I don't even know how long I would stay in, because usually every year we would like go to Canada and either visit some of like parts of my dad's family, either in Toronto or Montreal. And it would be so exciting because like, oh, we're going to do something fun. Yeah, it's crazy how time flies. But then when I hit college, it's like I had to do like summer classes. It would be so hot during those summer classes. Like, I mean, yeah, you had like the chill vibe of like still working and stuff, and like it was a relaxed summery vibe. Like, sometimes I get excited for summer, but then again, it's like I remember how hot it gets, and like grass grows, and like I have to mow the lawn every week. It would get so hot some days, like I would be drenched. Like it looks like I got out of the shower every time I would come in, because it's getting so hot now. Like every single year, it's like hotter than the last day, hotter than the year before, hotter than the year before, and the year before that. We're gonna reach like 90. I don't even know what the hottest day in Florida was, but it's not the fact that it's hot. Like, we can handle heat, but it's the humidity. There's a difference between like heat and humidity. Like, I remember I had a coworker that explained it to me best. So one of my coworkers back when I used to work for Publix, she explained it best. She explained that like in California or Las Vegas or in Nevada, it's like a dry heat. Like, it feels like an oven or like a microwave oven when it's like real actual hotness, you know, like a dry heat. It feels like an oven. But in Florida, it's humid, so it feels like a sauna. It's like a wet, moist. And I know you guys don't like, some of you guys don't like that word, moist. I don't even know what the problem with that word is. Like, I'm saying it right now. I'm saying the word moist right now. I'm not getting the ick. I'm not getting the ick from saying the word moist. And I know you guys don't like it when I say that word. Some of you guys don't like that word. Some of you guys despise that word. Moist. I don't get it. What's the hate with that word? I don't know. I don't get it. And a lot of people probably clicked off because I said that word right now, but that's how it feels. It's like a sauna. Like, it's damp, clammy, like your hands feel clammy. Ugh. And you just feel sticky, and it's not good. I mean, right now it's perfect. Let me see the temperature right now. It's, I don't want to say perfect. 58 degrees for Florida is quite chilly, because when you're in Florida for so long, you are so used to the heat almost every single day. Like, when spring comes, it feels like summer. When summer comes, it feels like summer times 10. That's the best way. That's the best way I can describe it. Because, like, spring feels like summer. So it's like when summer comes early. Once the warmer days hit, it gets super hot, and it's so unbearably hot. I think it gets so hot that you can cook an egg on the sidewalk. I think that's how hot it gets. I saw this one video where a guy had like, he was like right next to like a fan or something, like some sort of air conditioning unit, and it was all metal. He poured some cold water on it. It evaporated immediately. He was in Australia. He's like, hey, you want to know how hot it is? I'm going to pour this water all over this air conditioning unit, and I want you to see how fast this water just evaporates. It's so freaking... And then he touches... It hurts me to say this. He touches the unit with his bare hands. He puts his hand on there. He's like, oh, it's all metal. It's all metal. Oh, that hurts so much. Oh, crikey, it hurts so much. Oh, it's all metal. It's all metal. It's all metal. And I'm just like, dude, you literally poured water on top of the unit and it evaporated immediately. You probably have like a 2nd-degree burn on your hand just from putting it on top of the unit for 1 second. But it is getting incredibly hot, and it's like, I think it's also because like the sun is expanding, and the more the sun expands, the hotter it gets. And it's like very, very incremental, but we feel it every year. We are 93 million miles away from the sun, and it gets incredibly hot. Like, I'm sweating, and it feels like I took a bath. Like, it's don't forget it if you have to do like work, like yard work outside. If you have to carry a lot of stuff and you have like your face is red and you're like, sweating is good. I want to emphasize that sweating is good for your body, because when you sweat, you cool down. I want you guys to understand. You guys need to understand the science behind sweating. You ever been outside for a little while, you sweat for a little while, when you come back inside it feels cold? That's because the sweat is cooling you down. Here's how it happens. When it's hot outside, your body starts to heat up. Because we're warm-blooded. We are warm-blooded mammals, so we can adapt. We can change our body temperatures due to the environment, right? That's what warm-blooded creatures can do. But cold-blooded, like reptiles and stuff, they can't do that. Their body temperature stays the same. So when it gets cold for, like, you know, reptiles, they're sluggish. They can't move as well, and they get sick easier. When your body reaches a certain temperature, then you don't want to have a fever, right? Once you reach fever temperatures, that's when it's bad. But luckily, most of us have that mechanism where we just sweat and sweat and sweat. You sweat a lot when you're outside, and what's happening is all of that sweat that you're perspiring, that's mostly cold water. When that cold water hits your skin, it evaporates, and that's what cools, because the water is sucking all of that heat from your body. That's why you feel like, oh, I'm cooling down now because I'm sweating now. Like your central cooling system. I have absolutely no idea how an AC unit that's outside, I mean, I can understand because it's outside all day, so it gets incredibly hot. When he poured all that water and he just watched that stuff evaporate. It like hissed and it sizzled and went sss, and it evaporated immediately, and he touched that shit with his bare hands. I cannot describe how much pain I was in that day looking at him just touch that stuff with his bare hands. It's painful. I have rarely been burned all my life, but I can explain how it feels to be stung by like a bee or a wasp, because for the first time in my life, I haven't been stung by a bee, but I have been stung by a wasp. I want you guys to know how terrified I am of wasps. It's not, you guys call it an irrational fear. I call it a reasonable fear. You have no idea how much of these wasps are assholes. If you could give me a definition for the word hellspawn, wasps would be the picture for that definition on the dictionary. Just put the word hellspawn and just put a picture of a wasp. Put a picture of any wasp, like a yellow jacket or a paper wasp or a hornet or a Japanese giant hornet. Those are hellspawns. My imagination, my depiction of hell would be underground, really hot, and all the demons are wasps. That's all they are, and they continue to sting you every day. And when you get stung by a wasp, getting stung by a wasp and getting stung by a bee are two completely different things. I don't know what it's like to be stung by a bee, but I heard it hurts. And I know it hurts because getting stung by a wasp, I heard, is 100 times more worse. When you get stung by a bee's stinger is attached to its spinal cord. So they use that only as a last defense. Bees do not want to sting unless they are threatened, unless they are, they feel like they need to defend themselves. So if a bee stings you, that's because you gave it no other choice, right? A bee doesn't want to harm you. I was around a couple of bees and I was completely fine. And I didn't say anything to them. I didn't bother them. I let one land on my hand when I had like honey on it. I had like little bits of honey. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna just let this bee land on me. I'm gonna let it eat from my hand and then I'll let it fly away. And I was fine with it. I let the bee eat from my hand and I was fine with it. Wasps, on the other hand, are assholes. They sting for no reason. And forget it if it's a Japanese giant hornet, because those guys have anger issues. Those monsters have anger issues. Like, you think you have anger issues? Those things are filled with nothing but seething rage. I watched a video where a guy invented like some sort of like glue trap for the hornets. He put it all because he has like a beehive. He's a beekeeper pretty much. Those hornets love to attack the beehive. I think that's, they eat the bees or they attack them because I don't know, like they're like mortal enemies somehow. A bee is like really small, but the Japanese giant hornet is as large as your thumb, like an adult thumb. That's how big those Japanese giant hornets are. Those are monstrosities. Like they're so big, you can see like a final boss HP bar above their heads. When you get stung by a wasp, it's different because yeah, it's like pain. It's like a pinching pain. If I heard that's what it feels like when you get stung by like a honeybee. It feels like you got pinched. That's all it is, because it's just a sharp object. But wasps have, I don't know if it's bee venom. I think bees have venom, but wasps have like really potent venom. When they sting you, it burns, and it burns bad. Imagine a hot nail. Like you held a hot nail over the fireplace, you let it sit there for like maybe 10 seconds or maybe even a minute. You see it become red and you drive it into your skin. That's what it feels like. It burns so bad. And some people are allergic to the venom. Like they go into like anaphylactic shock or something like that. Luckily, I found out that I'm not allergic, but man, does it hurt. It hurt so bad that day. I'll never forget it. I was out like scrubbing the pool, I think, or maybe I was taking some like leaves out of my pool. And I was just doing that for a little bit. I was outside. It was like a warm day outside. And yeah, I remember because it was August. It was like a really hot day outside. And I was just, scrubbing the pool or taking leaves out of the pool. And all of a sudden I feel like this sharp pain on my thigh. Like my calf muscle. It was a sharp pain on my calf muscle. I'm like, oh no. And then I look. It looked like I had swatted the wasp or something. So I think I managed to kill the wasp just by swatting it. Luckily, it was just a small yellow jacket. But when I tell you that this hurt really bad and it burned really bad, a hot needle or a hot nail being driven into the skin, that is exactly what it felt like. I had to go in and I had to use isopropyl alcohol to soothe, like it was burning inside, but it was also burning like outside my skin too. It was like burning the surface, but I also felt it inside. It was burning the inside of my calf, which I could not stop. I was like, okay, let me see if I can deal with the pain inside, and I can't do anything about it, but let me see if I can like cool the surface. So I got alcohol and I put it on some cotton, like on a cotton ball, and I rubbed it over the affected area. It wasn't instant relief, but I did feel much cooler. And then after a while, I just let it sit for a while, and I felt the coolness, and it was simmering down, and I was like, oh my gosh, that's bad. It was really bad. But I heard that there are much worse. If you guys know who Coyote Peterson is, you've seen him get stung by insects that have so much more potent venom. The one that really scares me is the tarantula hawk. Those are so huge. They could be as big as the palm of your hand. They sound like helicopters. Because when I saw one of them fly, like in a video, they sounded like helicopters. Sounded like it was really scary. And they're black too, like they're dark. They have like a luminescent, like kind of like blue hueish black. I don't even know how to explain it. If you saw a tarantula hawk, you know what I'm talking about. But their venom is so the reason why they're called tarantula hawks, they're not tarantulas and they're not hawks. Those things hunt tarantulas, and tarantulas are fierce predators on their own. Tarantulas, I want you guys to know, I can't express to you how fierce tarantulas are. Like, they're bad predators on their own right. There's a predator above them called the tarantula hawk. They are the ones that feast on tarantulas. And Coyote wanted one of those tarantula-eating insects to sting him. But he was doing it for the science. He held it to his skin. It stung him. He was in immense pain. I cannot even begin to describe what that would feel like. I could not even imagine. I would have to get stung by one myself. And I don't want to do that because he keeps saying Please don't try this or anything else. And I'm like, you don't have to tell me twice. You don't even have to tell me once. I feel like that goes without saying. You ain't got to tell me twice to go near anything. But that's why, like, I learn about these things. Like, I learn about animals, and I learn about insects, and I learn about, like, the food chain. And it's all about survival of the fittest. If you're not fit, then you're gonna get yourself eaten. Ants get eaten by frogs. Frogs get eaten by snakes. Snakes, I think birds eat them. Birds get eaten by jaguars and stuff like that, and other animals that eat each other. Let me see what oh, I'm at an hour already. Sweet. All right, so it's 1 o'clock right now for me. I could probably like relax a little bit. I talked enough about. We're gonna call this random talks because I talked about a lot of stuff randomly. It feels random. I'm gonna call it random talks. This episode is called random talks because I know I wanted to talk about like I talked about like Apple, then I started talking about like memes or something. I started talking about. I need to listen back to this, but I want to thank you guys so much for listening to the Eazy-Austin show. Yeah, that's really all I have for you. This is Eazy-Austin signing off.